Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Ultimate Affiliate Marketing. I am your host. It's Paul Mott here again, yet another daily podcast. And we have a surprise guest. I've been trying to get this guy on for months. And for some reason, scheduling, people moving and doing weird things and COVID and everything else, we've just never managed to get it on. But today, everything aligned, and I'm so pleased that Dom Bavaro is on. Dom, how's it going, man?
Good, Paul. Thanks for having me. We finally made it. Four or five reschedules later.
I know, it was crazy. And of course, we've still got a time difference to worry about, and you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and days don't really align. But no, it was a chance, really, meeting on someone else's post today that we were just like, hey, yeah, we need to get this done. Let's get it done. And we did it. So
yeah, the world aligned that we were both free. I'm like, all right, let's do this before we miss the chance.
I know, yeah, that's right, because you know what it's like, everyone gets busy, and then, I mean, I've had this so many times with trying to schedule people, and sometimes it's like, yeah, we'll get that scheduled. I send them my link for the calendar link, and then I don't hear from them for a week. Stuff happens, and then I get like an appointment come through the calendar link, and it's like 3:30 a.m. to me, and I think, shit, that's not right. I will not do that.
Yeah, well, that's what I did, because I thought you were in Australia. I didn't realize you were in the UK. So yeah. I was like, all right. So I sent you a link. I think it was like 8-9 p.m. my time, or it's like 10 or 11. You're like, that was like 3:30 in the morning for me. And he's like,
I know, yeah.
You're clearly not in the time zone I thought you were.
I really need to work on my accent, because it is such a common thing for people to think either I'm from American, or B, that I'm Australian. So I don't know. Maybe I've got to work on my lingo. I think maybe that's what it is. Cool. Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit because obviously the listeners are here, and in case you don't know, the way the podcast works is that it's all aimed towards people that are already started affiliate marketing, right? So these people are looking to try and scale up. We're not just starting out, but we will still get some people which are listening that are starting out, and it's unlikely we're going to get people which are like doing 200, 300K a month and stuff like that. But the point is to try and give as much value as possible. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your own story, because everyone loves a good story, right? We like the zero to hero stuff, right? So just explain a little bit about your backstory so that people can get a feel about who you are.
Okay, so my story without going on for an hour and a half. So
we can do that's fine.
All right, so I got my start really offline. My entrepreneurial start was offline. So I sold cars for a while. I was in the car dealership business, and even before that, I blew out of the financial world. I was on Wall Street, licensed series license holder. I hated that world. It was just all too pressure, boiler room. Like, I need something at a slower pace.
Oh, so you were the original Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Well, yeah, I've been in those types of rooms where it's the rah-rah meetings, everyone's on the phone dialing for dollars. I've been in that room.
So basically, I'm going to tell everybody now that you inspired the movie, right?
Yes, that movie was about me. Yeah, man, it's funny. I was in college as an economics major. You're just like, finance and Wall Street, and you kind of just get enamored with it as an 18, 19-year-old. And then I got there and I was like, oh my, this is not the world. This is not the life I want to pursue. So kind of blew out of there, got into the car business, because this was 2011 and US was in a recession, and nobody was hiring unless you could sell something. So I was like, all right, I'll go here, I'll sell this. And I kind of took like a duck to water there, learned how to sell in the car business because of my background, was back in the F&I office. And then I kind of just got burned out with the car business. I started selling luxury brands. I started selling Cadillac, and I got kind of, I guess I got burnt out. It was just, the business had kind of changed. So I was like, whatever, I'm looking for a way out. And I came across an ad that was like, make money online renting cars. And I was like, what in the world is that? And it was a startup where if you bought a car, it was almost like Airbnb, but for cars and for Uber drivers.
Yeah.
So if someone was an Uber driver, they needed a car to rent, it would be private people renting a car. So I bought one, it got rented. I bought a second one, that got rented. And I kind of started rolling it up, and I was like, I'm onto something. Left my job in the car business, started my life in the rental car business. And I built my fleet up to about 10, 15 cars. At the peak, it was 15. Started having a lot of issues. People were not driving uninsured, but people were getting hit from uninsured drivers. I was footing
Right.
bills. People were walking out. It just became a circus and chaos.
Yeah.
And then there were some shifts in the market. My clientele took a dive. One of my cars was actually used in an armed robbery. I got a call from the Philadelphia Police Department. That was a fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Bit of a claim to fame.
What?
Bit of a claim to fame there. That's something unusual. And it's interesting you were talking about the renting your cars out thing, because I can't remember the name of the site now, but they have something similar to that over in the UK. And I tried to get my car listed on it because I just thought maybe it's a bit of extra money. I didn't need the car like 24/7, and it's it's a 5-liter GT Mustang, and they wouldn't put it on.
Wow. Yeah, I was renting $10,000 Nissans. So the person who rents a 5.0 Mustang is probably a different clientele than someone who rents a basic Nissan to run Uber.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I was on Turo, and I was also on Hire Car.
Right. It might have been the first one then. Yeah, because
Turo is more worldwide. Hire Car is more to the US.
Yeah, because where I was, there was like, I kept, my eyes were lighting up that whenever I searched it for myself, there was only 2 cars available. And I just thought, and I was getting a lot of feedback. I was living in a place called Newquay at the time, which is like proper southwest of England. It's like the surf capital of the UK.
Down by Cornwall.
Yeah. During the summer months, there is 0 hotels, and all the local people complain the fact that there's no taxis as well. There is such a need for people to get from A to B. And I just thought, yeah, I'll just, I'll hire out my Mustang. And obviously you go through this thing in your head thinking people are just going to burn out the clutch, or, just wreck it while they're parking, or it's going to get, its side wing mirrors like smashed off, or anything crazy like that. But at the time I thought, great, because I saw someone else who was doing a Mustang hire, and they were getting like $300-400 a day.
Wow.
And I just thought, and they only had 2 of them. Right. And I just thought, per car, I thought for a day, could I let someone else drive it for that? But anyway, we digress. Back into it. Come on.
Yeah. I was only getting $42 a day. So that $400, I'd take that. But yeah, so anyway, it's funny. Everything that you described, side mirrors getting knocked off, people crashing them, that actually, all of that happened to me. Because the cars were doing 50,000 miles a year. They're going to get banged up. So I learned how to do body work. I was actually maintaining all the cars myself to keep costs down. New business, new owner, you do the hustle. So, but I was starting to scale up, and I went to my wife. I'm like, hey, I started my business. Let's start a family. Decided to, got pregnant. We're like, hey, when the baby's born, my fleet will be enough. That whereas you can leave your job, you stay at home mom, and I'll run the rental car business.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, the day my daughter was born, the S hit the fan. I had 2 people get in accidents. I was like a $5,000 out of pocket for me. And then things just started spiraling out of control. And I'm like, I went to my wife. I'm like, we're not going to be making it. And this business isn't going to be big enough when you go back from maternity leave, because she had 3 months maternity leave from her company. And I'm like, we're not, I'm going to have to go back. You're going to have to go back to work, and we're going to have someone to take care of this newborn. So every day became take your daughter to work day.
Yeah.
So I would take a 3-month-old infant down to the garage with me to go meet people, and then at night I would go and service the cars, and it just became too much. And I'm like, this is.
Oh, it's a great thing though. You'd be like, oh yeah, I've got to feed my child, And it's like,
yeah.
And it's crazy you saying it. It's very similar as well, because my folks, they lived down in Florida for a good while, and they ran a cleaning business, and they got at one point they had like around. I think it was between 10 or 15 teams going out, which meant they had between 10 and 15 cars on the road. And the feedback that I got, they were like literally sometimes taking the piss because they were using the car all the time. They were loaning out to friends. They were, some people were having like accidents in the cars. And then I think, and it is just like running a business when you've got so many other staff. There was I think there was one point where, I think something had happened and they knocked something off the stove, and apparently the gas was going.
Oh my God.
Right in this house. So what happened then was they had the fire department, they had the ambulance service, they had the police there, closed the whole sort of like close off to this house, and the bill was horrendous. We were talking about 75 to 80K.
Oh my God. Yeah. And that's just,
Right? And
someone's got to pay it.
and someone's got to pay it. And they had that hanging over them. And
Mm-hmm.
somehow they managed to sort of like sort it all out with the insurances. But at one point they were like, this is us, we're done. Right? All
Yeah.
because other people weren't taking care. And I think the more people that you have employed by yourselves, then, you know, you're the one that actually cares about the business.
Correct.
And that is the thing. And you know, when we talk later about whether or not to get VAs and stuff like that, ultimately you're the person which are going to pay your own bills. No one else is going to. So you're the one that's more interested in the end result. And again, I'm doing it again. I am ranting away. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, it's a lot of the same way that I was feeling the same thing. It's, you know, at the end of the day, someone has to pay it. Like the first taste I got of this was it was the night of St. Patrick's Day, which obviously in the US, it's like one of the biggest drinking days, party days of the year. And renting to Uber drivers is this guy, no, he's out driving, making money. My phone was blowing up at 1:45 in the morning. I woke up and I'm like, from a deep sleep, I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I just saw it was a renter. I'm like, this is not a good phone call. Before I even picked it up, I'm like, this is not. And he goes, someone hit me. It was a hit and run. He was sitting outside of a nightclub. Somebody plowed into his back bumper and kept going. I'm like, did you get a plate? He's like, nothing. I don't know. The car's total. It says, I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do here at 2:00 in the morning. I'm not coming down to Philadelphia, West Philadelphia at 2 a.m. Like, it's not happening.
No.
I was like, get it towed. We'll sort it out in the morning. And yeah, and I was scheduled to go into the city with my father-in-law into New York, and I'm like, I had to get up at like 6:00 in the morning, and it was just like, you know, that became the norm of just the phone ringing with issues all the time. And I'm like, I need to get out of this business.
Yeah.
And you know, I wasn't making half the money as I was in the beginning, so that was kind of how I wanted to go online. I'm like, I need something that doesn't have exposure, because I would be getting, like you said, like that $75,000-$80,000 bill. One day I got a letter from an attorney's office for an accident that happened 2 years ago. Somebody hit somebody, didn't tell me about it. I guess they took it to a shady body shop. Actually, I know they did, because there was a car I was doing oil change, and I saw zip ties and wood screws behind the bumper. And I'm like, that's not a repair that I did. But, and the crash bar was bent and it was rusted over. So I'm like, I knew it was an old repair. I'm like, somebody got in an accident, fixed it, and didn't tell me. And then that letter showed up, and I'm like, all right. I was getting sued, and I'm like, luckily it was like $2,500 worth of damage, but I'm like, someone's got to pay it, and I got no proof. I don't have a leg to stand on, so here's a check. I don't want to get sued. So that's why I started going online and trying to do affiliate stuff, because being a salesman, you really don't have that response. You care about your own results, but you don't have the exposure and the responsibility selling. You know, creating a YouTube channel, there's not a lot of, you know, exposure to get sued. I mean, obviously anybody can sue anybody.
Because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong or we are completely disassociating ourselves from this right now, but if someone is either unethical or does something naughty on YouTube, they just close your account. That's it, gone. So
correct.
Yeah, they don't come and chase you down the road for it. You know, you put your own account at risk, and that's it. And that's why I say to a lot of people, you just have to be super careful, ethical, and you know, there are certain assets which you control, and the rest of the time you're just renting the space, right? And that's kind of it. It's like a free rental. You are renting space on Facebook. You're renting space on YouTube. You're renting space on all the other platforms, because at any one point, you know, that option could disappear from you. But I totally understand where you're coming from.
Absolutely. And then, but the one thing they don't tell you about, you know, making money online and becoming an affiliate is kind of the run up is hard. Yeah, I thought, I built a rental car business offline. Transferring to online should be easy, because I sold cars, I sold insurance, I've sold before, and it's tough. And then I kind of struggled online for 2 years trying to do the Clickfunnels affiliate, try to do the Facebook organic marketing. You know, I tried some really bad paid Google ads. You know, nothing was. I lost a bunch of money. I wasn't seeing any results until lockdown happened in the US. And this was actually after I had closed the doors on my rental business. I was bleeding too much money, and I said, you know what? I closed the doors in like January, and I was really, really depressed about it. And then COVID happened and rental cars were actually deemed essential in the US. So I was like, I am so glad I am out of that business and not having to deal with all that kind of protocols. So it was a blessing in disguise. And then everyone got locked in. And I was like, you know what, let me just hop. I saw some Facebook post about TikTok. Yeah. I was like, all right, let me just start making TikToks and we'll see where this goes. It's a new content channel. And like my second ever video got 7,500 views and I picked up like 400 followers. And I was like,
what?
I'm on to something here. And so I started making them every day and I started building a following quickly. And, you know, the affiliate program I was promoting, people were clicking, people were buying, people liked what they heard, because in the 2 years of struggling, I learned intellectually how to make money online. I know exactly how it works.
Yeah.
I learned all the terminology, learned all the back end stuff. It was just the results that hadn't happened. So I started just talking about it. And then once people, you know, liked what I had to say, they started buying what I recommended. And I was like, this is cool. And I just doubled down, and 8 months later, I've got a following of 30,000, and it was 2 years overnight.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, you obviously have unlocked something serious there, because I started, you know, when I first heard about TikTok, and it was, you know, you'd log in and it basically consisted of about 30 or 40 videos of teenage girls dancing and trying to sing to each other and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, this isn't my thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
I saw that too when I opened it up.
Yeah, this is not what I'm online for. Okay, admittedly, there was a few guys on there with comedy channels and stuff like that. That became amusing. But I mean, I remember at one point I was trying it, and I tried to upload, but I recorded the video and then uploaded on my phone, and the video became the same size as like a postage stamp. And my first like couple of videos, the titles was, "Oh my God, I've got this wrong. Oh my God, I've done it wrong again. Geez, I can't believe I'm still doing this." And, you know, and that was kind of it. And then I did a few just out of total boredom, had no structure to it, didn't know exactly what I was doing, and it fell flat on its face. But I guess it's about consistency. It's still, to me, it still feels a little bit alien, but it's like everything. It's like doing this podcast. When you're almost talking to yourself, it does feel a bit weird. It's almost like your inner mind, but coming out of your brain, you know, coming out of your mouth.
Almost like thinking out loud.
Yes, thinking out loud. And you can ramble on. And it's very much an extra senses or extra exposure, so to say, is YouTube. And then the ultimate exposure, I think, is like either Facebook Live or TikTok, because, you know, and it's kind of a rush. I mean, what's the sort of how long can you do a TikTok video for? What's that sort of workout?
No more than 60 seconds.
So you got to be pretty concise then, right?
Yes. You need to make a single. Most TikToks are about 15 seconds, and the maximum is 60. So you have to make a singular point really quick, or it's a lot of quick jump cuts, which is kind of just a 30,000-foot overview.
Yeah.
And then you're answering questions in the comments, or you're directing people over to a YouTube channel where you can fully explain stuff.
Oh, I can never get the hang of that.
Yeah.
If anyone's, well, people are listening to the podcast now. I think yesterday, I thought I was talking for about 2 minutes, and when I uploaded it, it was 12. Right?
Yeah. I did the same thing when I recorded YouTube. I'm like I said, feeling like 2-3 minutes, and I go, oh wait, I'm 37 minutes in. It's like that's a sitcom. Who's gonna sit that long?
That's longer than a sitcom. That's like, it's not like a half-hour show. That's like an hour show, less ads. Right?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I was like, oh, how do I cut this down? But there's so much to cover.
Yeah.
And then, let alone now, how do I cut that down to a minute to get people to go sit down and watch that?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the thing with TikTok is that the information that I've sort of observed, and obviously I don't know this for a fact, but it's got to be relevant and it's got to be engaging, and in some case almost slightly comedic. And
yes,
I quickly realized that I am not funny, right? So which is probably why when I look at my TikTok account, which hasn't been touched for a couple of months, the views were extremely bad, right? So is there more to it? Is it a little bit more like you would expect as far as like getting ranked in views? Is there a translation between what people used to do with like Google for SEO and that what people do for now with YouTube or Facebook organic marketing? Is there a flow? Is there a science to it, or is it kind of like hit and miss?
You know, it depends, because they're out because they're so new. I mean, the app itself isn't really new. I think TikTok itself has been around since 2016, 2017, but it really exploded in popularity in 2020. And since it exploded in popularity, there's a lot of algorithm changes. So there's kind of a science to it. You have to hook people in the first second or two. You have to deliver on pretty much what you say. And then you also have to get people to engage for the algorithm to send that video viral. But as far as SEO and like as Facebook, you want to go into the right groups. On Google, you want to rank for the right keywords. On TikTok, it's a lot of the algorithm doing a lot of the placing for you. So you're guessing what your audience is going to want. So the more content you can put out quickly, try different things. You might get 500 views, 500 views, 500 views, 500 views, and then one pops off to 50,000. You're like, all right, well, people clearly like the one that was 50,000. I'm going to do more like that. And that's kind of how you grow.
Yeah, I guess it's similar to YouTube, isn't it? When you get a video which sees a spike in views, then just kind of like think, okay, right, well, let's do something similar to that. But
exactly.
do you still have to like, write a comment or like comments on it? Do you use tags on it? Is there any way to drive extra engagement to it? How does it all work?
So there's on every video in the bottom left corner, there's a description. It's 150 characters, including hashtags.
Right. Okay.
So typically, conventional wisdom says some people don't use hashtags at all. And it's just, in the algorithm I trust. And I've had some videos that did pretty well, but for the most part, you'll use 3 to 5 hashtags, which are, you'll kind of tag your audience, who it's for, what it's about. And then just kind of, they have like these viral hashtags that they kind of show to everyone that are general right now. Like it's topical. So like when Kobe Bryant passed away, I think it was like RIP Kobe was like the official. So you'll put that and that'll put it out to a broad audience. So if you, it's not so much that people are scrolling hashtags like they are on Instagram. That just tells the algorithm, hey, this is how this video should be categorized. Show it to people who like this category.
Right. Okay.
And then the description, you'll kind of put something that you want people to watch to the end. So like if you do a list, 5 things that are, 5 ways to make money online. If in the caption, you go, hey, number 5 is awesome. People will sit there, hey, what is he talking about with number 5? That'll increase watch time, tell the algorithm it's a good video, and send it viral.
Well, I understand that from an end user point of view, because now if I upload TikTok, I'm not hit with all those, teenage wannabe videos. I tend to be hit more with comedy shows and stuff like that, which is great because I remember even like a few weeks ago just clicking on, and I think it was like early evening, and 4 hours passed. And I was like,
it's so addictive. I probably spend 2 hours a day scrolling myself, and I justify it as market research. But
well, the thing was, it was kind of like, I watched this like, and they're almost like comedy shorts,
yes.
and I watched that one, and then I think, cool, right. So I swipe right, and I see all the other videos. So I watch all of their other videos, and then I want more, and then I go back on again, and it's someone else doing it. And then I laugh, and then I try and show my partner, and she's not interested. So I get back on there again. And it's like on and on and on and we go. So
yeah. And it's funny, you actually touched on a really good point about when everybody first downloads the app, right? The bread and butter right now on TikTok is age 15 to like 21, right? End of college, end of university is kind of like that's the upper limit of like their biggest market segment. So when you first create an account, they don't know who you are, what you're into. So they're going to show you most of that type stuff. Yeah. Lip syncing college kids, teenage girls are like, this is kind of general content that most of our people like.
Magic shows.
Yeah. So you have to spend some time tuning up your algorithm. It's probably a day or two. Swipe past that stuff. Search maybe a couple of, if you're into business, search some business hashtags, follow some business people, and you'll never see it. You'll never see a dancing video again. It'll not, your whole
That's the
algorithm will
thing.
do nothing.
I don't think I've ever searched on it. It's kind of weird, you know. Obviously YouTube, you search for stuff, but then you get suggested videos. Even on Facebook, you watch like a Facebook video, right? If it's recorded or if it was alive and recorded, it will show you something else. And sometimes the algorithm get it spot on, and sometimes they get it horribly wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, I watch a
TikTok is
video and I
oddly
go out the room, I
specific.
come back and there's this weird thing going on. It's not even in my language. And I'm like, there's nothing to do with me. I don't know what.
I would miss, yeah. But yeah, you don't really, you don't search too much. I mean, TikTok is addictive in the way that you pop in, you start scrolling, and there's a 99.999% chance the first 10 videos are going to be relevant to you.
Yeah.
I mean, they have that out. They have that algorithm dialed in so much, and it's based upon if you complete something. So you, even if you're not liking a video, likes don't really mean much on the TikTok algorithm. It's all about watch time.
Yeah.
So if you like, if you go on Instagram or you go on Facebook and you kind of scroll past something and you don't engage, it doesn't think that you are, you know, that you're interested. But TikTok will know that, like, if you just stare at your screen and you finish it, that'll count as engagement to them.
It wouldn't surprise me if dark forces were in action there and they could actually like tap into your front facing camera to see your expression.
You know what? They might. I have no idea. They would get a lot of like pictures like this of people looking.
I think actually they get a lot of pictures like this. And for those people which can't see us right now, it's just me with a completely blank face, mouth half open, and that was it. So yeah, it's incredible. And you were talking there about not liking stuff or not commenting. Again, from an end user, it's rare that I like a video or comment on a video. It's just like I'm consuming the content, you know. I'm just consuming. And I guess from like you said, the common misconception is and people think, oh, it's just a kids thing, but other people like yourself have seen such great results by tapping into the older generation, which are becoming more addicted to the platform than ever before because of the almost how fast you can actually get content, because you know, you're not having to sit through a 2.5-hour webinar. You're not having to sit through and watch something that's going to droll on for the first 20-25 minutes about how great they are before you actually get to anything decent. As creators, you've got to be bang straight on, you know. It's got to be there, it's got to be fast. Like I say, 60 seconds is not a lot of time to put a point across and get people to take an action. So it's kind of like it is almost like the shock and awe of sales. You've got to really get to the point super fast, you know, who, what, why, when, how, and all that sort of thing. Bang, 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 do this, do that, call to action, go. And yeah, total respect, man. I mean, for people just starting out, how have you sort of like went from, you know, obviously you said to begin with and it wasn't doing that much. What do you think the biggest, or kind of like putting it in a different way, what do you think the biggest factor was in the success that you've had so far with it?
The biggest success factor, I mean, for me, I do series. I mean, I was thinking, we were talking offline before, I'm coming off a little bit of a slump because I kind of got burned out of content ideas, but I did a lot of series. So my first like 24 or so TikToks, I was very timely. You know, in the US, we were getting a $1,200 stimulus check, and everybody there's people who want to start affiliate marketing. They want to start making money online, but they're like, you know what? I don't have the money to invest, right? Even if it's $10 or $15 a month for an email autoresponder, like, yeah, no, I don't want to invest that money. Yeah. And it was frustrating, but I'm like, but you know what? Uncle Sam's giving everybody $1,200 free dollars.
Awesome.
Yeah, that objection's gone. That's it. So I started making content. I'm like, look, I'm going to show you guys. And I started like 3 weeks. I was like, right after they got announced that the check was going to get delivered. And it was 3 weeks until they started going out. So I was like, I'm going to show you guys how to turn your $1,200 stimulus check into an online business.
Nice.
Document the whole thing. show you all the tools you need. That way, when you get your check, you'll have a blueprint of how to do it.
Nice.
So I went through, I showed people how to create a Facebook page for business. I showed them how to write a paid ad. I showed them how to select images, showed them how to write an email sequence. And I was like, look, it's going to take a lot more than 60 seconds. So you got to follow to see how it all happens. And I kind of did it live as a case study, saying that you're not going to know the outcome. I'm going to pick something random off of ClickBank, follow along, see how I do. And then once I made that first sale, I said, here, this is where I learned it. Go to the link in my bio, click on it, and people started signing up and buying the training that I was actually, that I was recommending.
Pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's smart. That was smart. That was super smart. I like that. And obviously that must have really boosted what you were doing. And it's probably an education to a lot of people to look at what the trends are at the moment and taking something which is happening really in the world now and being able to, I wouldn't say exploit it, but take advantage of that situation for the good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was actually, I got that idea. It wasn't my own idea. That was an idea from Steve Larson. I was listening to his podcast. It was like an old sales funnel radio episode because I became a podcasting junkie. I went back, I listened to everyone's podcast. Like I haven't listened to music in the car in about 6 months.
Same.
Yeah. Like I haven't done it. It's just nothing but podcasts. And the episode was about noise. He's like, as a marketer, no one's going to create enough noise on their own, especially when they're starting out, right? Even if once you get established, like even me right now, even though I have a following of 30,000, I'm never going to create enough noise to get people to listen to me.
Yeah.
So Steve was like, you want to align yourself with noise that's already in the marketplace. And he talked about a campaign that he did in 2016 called Make Affiliates Great Again. And he was like, aligned with the Donald Trump rhetoric. And he's like, I caught some flack for it, but you know what? I was getting shared because it was topical. And I was like, I think this episode was from like early 2017. So it was pretty relevant at the time. So I heard about the checks going out and I'm like, let me try it. And guess what? It worked.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Do you think that, are people, if they start right now, are they coming behind the wave, or do you think they're still going to be able to ride the wave?
No, the wave is definitely still there. I mean, it slowed down a little bit, but rather than organic reach being turned up to 11, it's still turned up to like 8 or 9 on there.
Yeah, because I was reading the. Have you read the Traffic Secrets from Russell Brunson?
I'm like through a couple chapters. It's sitting on my desk.
Well, I'll tell you a short story right now. I have the hardback just literally over there. It's one of the few items which I brought with me when I started traveling around the world, as it seems. But I got as far as when he said, publish a podcast episode every day and for a year, and you never have to worry about money again. And this is my mission, and I'm trying to do that right now, which is like why we're quickly closing on to 200 episodes. But
yeah.
Previous to that, he was talking about different platforms and the fact that when a platform first comes out, they reward everybody for everything, right? It's a little bit like back in the day when Facebook first came out. If you had 100 friends and posted, 100 people saw your post.
Yes.
Right? And if you had 1,000 people, 1,000 people saw your post. And then they changed it a little bit so that if you posted a picture, then 1,000 people saw it. And then they changed it again. If you posted a video, then 1,000 people. And then they changed it. If you did a live, then 1,000 people saw it. They changed it all around.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, even your Facebook business pages now. I mean, I have a Facebook business page that's got like 16,000 people on it. If I post on there, I'm lucky 25 people see it. Right? And it's kind of like
they throttled pages, and I guess they shifted to groups, didn't they?
Yeah, they shifted groups, but even still with the groups, same type of deal. It started like really limited down. But I'll tell you one thing, every time that I post on my Facebook business page, do you want to boost this post? Right? There is an option there every single time. How would you like to reach the people which you spent good money getting in the first place?
Yeah, give us more money.
How about boosting the post and sending us money, because they are a business. They have shareholders. That is their business model. So, but it's echoing across all platforms. When they first come out, they give you a nice big organic push, and then eventually they'll move to a paid marketing sort of like business model. They'll evolve to that. And even now I'm starting to get like ads through Facebook for advertising on TikTok, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of like the next move. The organic reach is going to start reducing. So if people want to start getting in now, this is the best time to start doing it.
Yes.
And I've got
the window's going to close. I don't know when it's going to close, but it's going to close.
And I've got a feeling that with your experience and your results, you're one of the best guys to learn from.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you no.
How was that for like a really smooth transition?
It was very smooth.
It kind of worked. You know. So now I do want to stress this, because the reason why I wanted to get Dom on here in the first place was because of his results on TikTok, because I saw how well he was doing. I was secretly taking notes, and you don't know this. I've been stalking your profile for a while, right?
Oh, I appreciate it.
Not just on Facebook, but other channels as well. And I know that you're doing exceptionally well. This is why people that are in affiliate marketing, they need to maximize the platforms that they choose to concentrate on. And there is a shift going on, and it's all moving towards video, whether that be YouTube, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Facebook Lives or anything like that, to maximize the exposure that people can get. So if they want to build themselves up as what we call an influencer, if you like, but also at the back end, it's about helping people as much as you can. But we are business owners. We still want those affiliate checks. So
correct. That's what allows us to keep making the content, right?
Yes. So you've got to kind of like get in front of the curve as much as you can before that curve folds over on you. And that's why I wanted to get Dom on today, because I believe that with what he's done and what he's able to show others will help them dramatically. And that's the premise for the show in the first place. And I've said this time and time again, people get to learn stuff on this podcast that they would normally pay thousands for in paid courses. I make no bones about that. I will tell everybody literally everything I know on a podcast, which I might charge elsewhere for. And that's the reason why I wanted to get you on, because I know that just by getting you on and having that information is going to help other people. But I also want to give them the option to align themselves with you as well and to learn even more. So I want you to tell the listeners how they can go ahead and do that.
Okay, so yeah, if people want to learn more, I'm actually starting to put together a TikTok coaching course where it's probably going to start early 2021 in January. I want to focus on getting people their first 1,000 subscribers and to get them their first sale online or your first high ticket. So if you've already made a couple of low ticket stuff, it's still in the works. I'm still kind of hammering it out, so it's an easy process for people. So it's probably not going to happen until January 21. But if you want to go get on a wait list, go to www.launchmyaffiliatebusines.com/TikTok, TikTok.
Oh man, you literally nailed the URL on that one as well.
Yeah, I've been sitting on that one for a little while. I actually bought that domain back in June. I'm like, how am I going to use this?
Oh man, yeah, I come across some amazing domains sometimes, and I keep thinking, I get that whole thing. Oh, how can I use it? What can I do that with? But yeah, I get it. Right. Listen, we are going to include that URL in the show notes. So I'm going to ask Dom to make sure that he sends it right to me so we can upload that straight away. And I almost implore people to go ahead and get on that wait list, because I can see some massive things coming on. Dom is going to be able to help lots of people absolutely crush it in 2021. So for now, Dom, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. And for everyone else listening, yeah, just make sure you go ahead and click that link, get on Dom's wait list, and we'll catch you all again tomorrow.